Chapter 1 Zombie, Dad 1. Blue Star Calendar, April 1st, 2828, 8 o'clock in the evening. Astronomy enthusiast He Chiron suddenly saw a dark blue meteor entering the atmosphere through a high-powered telescope at an extremely terrifying speed. Good guy, I wonder where this meteor will land. Will it leave a terrible crater? While he was nervously guessing, he saw a small mushroom cloud rising from the meteor, as if some celestial body had hit it. The dark blue meteor broke into pieces, and the small mushroom cloud disappeared in an instant. Chiron was so excited that he immediately intercepted the previous observation video and posted a tweet in a circle of friends. Major discovery. An invisible celestial body strikes a meteor and forms a small mushroom cloud. Is it suspected to be a UFO or alien? There are pictures and the truth. In just a quarter of an hour, this Weibo post was forwarded thousands of times, and countless netizens commented on it. Some people even forwarded this message to the official website of the National Astronomy Center. That night, countless people in Blue Star were so excited that they could not sleep. At the same time, a little girl over 4 years old fell on an apple tree on a hillside in Blue Star Xia Country, breaking countless branches. However, the silver skirt the little girl was wearing was intact, and she herself seemed to be intact. It was already dark now, and the fruit farmers who worked during the day had already gone home to eat and rest. The orchard was silent, with only the occasional barking of dogs, indicating that this was a peaceful and quiet small village. The little girl opened her eyes and glanced around. She seemed not to be affected by the darkness and could see everything around her clearly, even the insect eggs on the leaves. The little girl looked confused and asked the 3 questions of her soul. Who am I? Where am I? What am I going to do? Then, she found that she could not answer any of these 3 questions. The little girl was in a daze, when suddenly a vague fragrance invaded her sense of smell, and a drop of suspicious liquid flowed out from the corner of her mouth instantly. Then, she heard a gurgling sound coming from her belly, which sounded particularly clear in the silent orchard. Following the biological instinct of foraging, she slid from the tree to the ground, then spread her short legs and ran toward the origin of the fragrance. Zheng Dalong, who skipped school and went to an internet cafe to play games for an hour, walked into the village, came to the outside of his courtyard wall, and slipped against the wall to his home. When he slipped to the door, he suddenly spotted a small black figure speeding toward him. Under the dim streetlight, a short black shadow moved very fast, as if it was heading towards the door of his house. Through the streetlight, he saw a dark little face, which frightened him and immediately screamed, "Grandpa, there is a ghost." Hearing his scream, the little girl stopped, raised her eyes and glanced at him, and a line of words immediately appeared in front of her eyes. Intelligent creature, bone age 8 years, fat, weak, ugly, and does not pose any threat to the body. This line of words that suddenly appeared in front of her eyes did not frighten the little girl. On the contrary, it was just a daily habit. She was even more confused. Where did this line of words come from? Who was she? Grandpa Zheng, who also heard the scream, strode out of the yard. He and his wife were sitting by the flowers in the yard, setting up dinner and waiting for their late grandson. When his son called out, regardless of whether it was true or not, he ran out immediately to see what was going on. Chapter 2 Zombie, Dad 2. Dalong, where's the ghost? Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Grandpa is here. We don't do bad things in our family, and we are not afraid of ghosts knocking on the door. As soon as Grandpa Zheng saw that his grandson was safe and sound, he immediately put down half of his worries and put his grandson into his arms to comfort him. The little girl glanced at Grandpa Zheng, and a line of words appeared in front of her eyes again. Intelligent creature, bone age 62 years old, thin, weak, ugly, and does not pose any threat to the body. Whoa, I was scared to death. Grandpa, a little devil is running so fast and is about to enter our house. Mrs. Zheng Dalong pointed at the little girl and pretended to cry. After seeing clearly the little girl who seemed to be a ghost, he was now sure that she was not a ghost. He just said this deliberately to divert his grandfather's attention in order to cover up the fact that he came home late. Looking at his grandson's finger, Grandpa Zheng immediately laughed. What a courageous coward! This is obviously a black-faced girl. Why do you think you are a brat? Little girl, tell Grandpa, where do you live? What are your parents' names? Why did a man come to my door alone? Grandpa Zheng knelt down and looked at the little girl with a loving smile. The little girl was confused when he asked her. If she knew this information, how could she stay here and waste time? She could only shake her head. Ouch! Grandpa shouldn't ask you this. The baby is still so young and lost alone. He is probably scared to death. How can he remember so much? Grandpa Zheng said apologetically. The little girl was filled with anger. Although she had no memory, she felt that she was very brave. How could she be so scared just because she got lost? However, before she could express her dissatisfaction, Zheng Dalong asked again, Little sister, what is your name? Now the little girl was confused again and could only continue to shake her head. She really didn't know her name. She didn't have any memory. Could it be that she was really a fool? With this question, she lowered her head in frustration. What should we do? Grandpa Zheng looked worried at the little girl. Take her home first. If no one comes to look for her, she can be my sister. Zheng Dalong immediately became interested. He envied those friends in the village who had younger sisters, but his parents had gone to work in big cities and had no energy to give birth to a younger sister for him. Grandpa Zheng was a little moved when he heard this. Although the doll in front of him was a little dark, his facial features were so exquisite. He has big round black eyes, a small nose, and a rosy mouth. There is absolutely nothing unattractive about him. He has lived for more than 60 years and has seen countless child stars on TV. I have never seen a doll so beautiful. If this doll really doesn't have any parents looking for it, and if it is kept and raised, it can be a wife for his precious grandson. Although arranged marriages are not popular nowadays, the love between childhood sweethearts who grew up in the same place must be so deep that the brat next to them can't even try to pry the corners off. Zheng Dalong had no idea that his grandfather's thoughts had spread to the horizon. He was completely immersed in the excitement of having a younger sister. If this sister can stay, he can show off when he goes to school in the future. None of their sisters are as beautiful as this sister. I will definitely envy them to death. So, under the deception of the old and the young of the Zheng family, actually, it was the temptation of the smell of rice, the little girl followed them and sat at the dining table in the yard. Chapter 3 Zombie, Dad 3. Grandma Zheng's eyes widened with shock when she saw her grandfather and grandson bringing back a little girl over 4 years old. Then she couldn't help but feel a little moved when she heard each of them explain the cause and effect. Although their family is not wealthy, every household now has food and clothing, so it is not a problem to feed one more child. What's more, such a beautiful little girl will definitely not lose money when she is raised. Either she becomes a wife for her grandson, or she debuts as a film and television star or something. No matter what, she will make money. The 3 members of the family were very enthusiastic. Grandma Zheng quickly took out a box of breakfast milk that was exclusive to her grandson, heated it with boiling water, and gave it to her to drink. The little girl took a sip and nodded with satisfaction. Yes, it smells good. Then she unceremoniously grabbed the white steamed buns and ate them happily with cold cucumbers and scrambled eggs with leeks. Poor baby! How long have you been hungry? Look how delicious she eats! Grandpa Zheng sighed. My dear, don't eat any more, or you will not digest it. Watching the little girl eat a big steamed bun, destroying half of the plate of cucumbers and half of the plate of leeks and eggs, Grandma Zheng tried to persuade her with fear. I still want to eat, the little girl insisted. This simple sentence surprised the family of 3. They originally thought that she was abandoned by her family because she was mute. Otherwise, how could she appear alone in their remote mountain village? I didn't expect that she could speak, and her enunciation was very clear. Looking at her big and smart eyes, she was obviously a smart and beautiful little girl. Could it be that she was a lost child of someone traveling outside? Now, the family of three began to worry again. If someone else's parents came to their door, they would have to return the baby to him even if they were reluctant. The little girl who had eaten and drank enough was arranged by Grandma Zheng to sleep on the big Kong, next to Zheng Dalong. Zheng Dalong was so excited that he kept staring at her. The smell of milk on the little sister was so delicious. He was so lucky to have a sister. It didn't take long for the two little ones to fall asleep, but Grandma Zheng couldn't sleep. She whispered to her husband, shopkeeper in local dialect. Husband and wife call each other shopkeeper. If no one comes to find this baby, shall we keep it? Well, stay here. We can't let such a young child run around on his own. What if he encounters a trafficker? Grandpa Zheng immediately responded, do you think this is okay? If the village chief smells it, he will say that this baby is my cousin's granddaughter. Her girl Wan Lingshan ran away with the foreigner a few years ago and has lost contact with the family since then. When my cousin died of illness last year, the heartless girl never came back. Grandma Zheng thought about it seriously and said, do you want to tell the villagers that this little girl is the illegitimate child of your niece and a foreign black man? Grandpa Zheng frowned. Otherwise, what else can we do? There is an extra baby in the house for no reason, and the village cadres will definitely want to inquire about it. Grandma Zheng said with a guilty conscience, this is a good idea. I'm afraid the baby will blame us when he grows up. Grandpa Zheng said, we are going to be very nice to her. When she gets older, we will tell her that she picked it up on the roadside. In order to get her an identity card, we have to borrow her cousin's identity. Grandma Zheng said, okay, but we have to wait at least a few days. If her parents really don't come to find her, we will keep her. Grandpa Zheng said seriously, don't worry, I'm not the one who has a bad heart. If the baby's parents really come, how can I hide the baby and not return it to them? Grandma Zheng said, Chapter 4 Zombie Dad 4. Because of the arrival of his little sister, Zheng Dalong was so excited last night that he didn't fall asleep until after 12 o'clock. He naturally slept like a little pig in the morning and didn't wake up until dawn. Grandpa Zheng went to water the orchard early in the morning. Grandma Zheng, who had made breakfast, quickly walked to the big Kong and slapped her grandson hard on the face. Dalong, wake up. You're late, Grandma Zheng shouted. Zheng Dalong slowly got up and rubbed his eyes. When he saw the little girl next to him who was staring at him with a pair of big eyes, he immediately couldn't bear to leave. Grandma, please call our class teacher and ask for a leave for me. If I'm late, the teacher will definitely make me stand in class for a period, and my classmates will laugh at me when they come over. Zheng Dalong said with a pleading look on his face, pulling on his grandma's sleeves. No. Why are you delaying your studies? You eat quickly, and you can catch up with the second class. Grandma Zheng decisively refused his unreasonable request. She could tolerate him for other things, but there was no way to skip class. Grandma, if I leave, my sister will be lonely at home alone. How about I take her to school with me? How can that happen? What if she starts crying? No, you see, my sister is so good. She hasn't even frowned since last night. How could she be crying? Besides, there are computers in the school. You can ask the teacher to help check and see if there is any news about her family. Zheng Dalong said seriously. In fact, what he was thinking was that he finally had a beautiful sister, and he had to take her to school to show off. Okay, you two should wash up and eat quickly, and then go to school together. Grandma Zheng nodded. She thought what her grandson said made sense, and besides, the primary school in the town was loosely managed. As long as the child didn't make a fuss, the teacher wouldn't say much. At the dinner table, Zheng Dalong said while eating, Grandma, let's give our little sister a name. You see, she looks so beautiful, like a rainbow in the sky. Can we call her Zheng Qianhong? Zheng Qianhong? Well, not bad, not bad. My grandson is different after he goes to school. The name he gave is nice and grand. Grandma Zheng immediately smiled like a flower. My dear, can I call you Qianhong from now on? Grandma Zheng picked up the little girl and said with a smile. Okay. The little girl vaguely felt that the name Qianhong was familiar, and she was very receptive, so she nodded in agreement. The three of them had just sat down around the dining table when Grandpa Zheng came back. His trouser legs were wet with the morning dew in the grass. When he came in, he was still holding 2 red apples in his hands. I don't know who was killed by God and broke most of the branches of the entire tree in our orchard. The fruits on them are not yet ripe. I picked them for a long time, and these 2 were ripe. The rest can only be hung on the tree with the branches and left in the sun for 2 days to see if they can turn red. He rambled. It's not a plane, right? Maybe it was a helicopter passing by on some military mission and accidentally crashed. Grandma Zheng said, if this is really the case, I will accept it and consider it as a contribution to the country. Grandpa Zheng said. Zheng Qianhong felt a little guilty when she heard it. When she opened her eyes last night, she seemed to be on an apple tree, and there were many broken branches. Qianhong, good boy, you and your brother can take 1 apple each and eat it during recess at school. Grandpa Zheng gave the apples to the 2 children. Zheng Dalong picked up his backpack, held his beautiful sister in one hand, and went to school happily. Chapter 5, Zombie Dad 5. Zheng Qianhong's arrival caused a small sensation in Class 2 of the town's primary school. Many children rushed over to watch. They had never seen such a beautiful and exquisite doll until they were so old. Zheng Dalong, who is she? My sister, Zheng Qianhong. Zheng Dalong straightened his chest and looked proud. TCH, you're coaxing ghosts. How can you have a sister in your family? Are your parents the only ones who can give birth to such a beautiful sister? It's my cousin, yes, it's my cousin. She's from my cousin's house. Zheng Dalong made up a temporary lie. Just when everyone was making a fuss, a boy walked into the classroom carrying a worn-out school bag. He seemed to have a low pressure, and all the children temporarily lost their voices when they saw him. Zheng Qianhong, who was surrounded by a group of children, her eyes lit up when she saw the boy. A line of words appeared in front of her eyes. Intelligent creature, bone age 8 years old, physical strength E level, mental strength A level. Beautiful. He does not pose a threat to the subject for the time being, but it cannot be ruled out that he'll pose a certain threat to the subject after promotion. When an alien suddenly appears among a group of weaklings, Zheng Qianhong will naturally pay special attention to it. Of course, her focus is not just on this line of writing, but on the boy's appearance. Although his face looks gray and his body is very thin, he has a pair of bright black eyes like stars and clear-cut facial features. Given time, he will definitely grow into a beautiful young man. Zheng Qianhong pushed away the children around her without any politeness, ran over with her short legs, stood in front of the boy, and raised her face. Little brother, what's her name? I like you so much. The boy lowered his eyes, glanced at her quickly, and then said with an indifferent expression, Get out of the way. You are blocking my way. Zheng Qianhong's little heart was hit 10,000 times. She took the initiative to show her kindness, but why did this little brother look at her like a roadblock? She felt extremely wronged and twitched her small nose pitifully. Zheng Dalong on the side quickly comforted her. Sister, don't cry. His name is Hing Tian. He is a freak. He never pays attention to his classmates. In the past, a classmate tried to deal with him, but he beat him badly. Just stay away from him in the future. Zheng Qianhong said in her heart, You weaklings will definitely be cannon fodder against someone of Hung Tian's level, but she suddenly began to wonder, what level is she herself? Unfortunately, the appraisal did not appear as she expected.